Hey, good morning, everyone. I am Nancy Quinn, previously Ganselkorfer. We're in the process of changing my name. You guys know me. I'm a business coach and body language trainer to interior designers, and I am here today with Kim Vanderpool of Fresh Impact, who helps us learn everything we need to know about marketing and social media. So welcome, Kim.
Thanks for having me.
I always love having our conversations, and this is going to be a good one because how do you fall in love with your marketing? And I always say it's simple. When it starts to work for you, suddenly you're going to like it.
Right.
So what do you say?
Right. So what I say is that we need to, start throwing away what everyone's telling us we need to do and learn more to be authentic to what we feel marketing is. And that is where our topic today is on stories and how to use that in your marketing, which really the intent of stories is for people to get to know you. And so that's really a safe place to even start. Like, it's great posting on the feed. We recommend that. We recommend doing all that. But stories is a great way to build that connection quickly and really get people to know you, and they do business with who they know, like, and trust. And stories are great that way because it's less pressure because the story disappears after 24 hours.
That is my favorite part of stories. So even if you have any anxiety about putting something out there, take a deep breath. You know it's going to be gone in 24 hours. And the people who saw it, what would they have thought? It's one more, oh, I didn't know that about him or her.
Right. And one thing I'm seeing quite a bit, especially in the club when people come on, when they're starting to learn about social media marketing, is they always think it's about them. Well, that's where we need to flip the script. Even stories, it's not about me. It's about my audience and who I'm attracting and how I can provide value for them. So an example was this morning, I met with another colleague, a mentor of mine. I meant to snap a picture and I forgot. But my intention is if I would have taken a picture of it and put it in my stories and saying how important it is to have outside connections besides just social media, that marketing is more than just social media or your online presence, that in-person networking is really important. That would have provided value for my audience. It maybe would have made people think a little bit differently about, like, it's not, social media isn't the end all be all, but how important connections are, which is part of our brand and our messaging. And so I feel like I kind of missed an opportunity, but I'll figure out how to make it work. But that would have been an example of a story that I could have shared that would have provided value for my audience. That necessarily.
Yeah, but I think of it like you could just tell the story and put it out there and go, I forgot to take a picture, right? It's still a perfect story to put out there that will benefit your audience. So I see what you're saying.
Yes. And so when people start using stories, we want to think about, if you took a picture, so a designer, she takes a picture behind the scenes of picking two different samples of wallpaper, telling people, like, if they could just see that, if you could just see that, would you understand the story that's going on with that or not? And so even using a little script, like, hey, trying to decide between the two wallpapers, and then going that step further, like, one of your stories, each time, that day that you post should have an engagement. Use a sticker, like, which one do you like, A or B type thing. And so you're getting people to interact and engage, which really helps that algorithm that everybody's talking about all the time.
Yes, and helps you enjoy it more because you're getting interaction. I think what happens a lot is people put stuff out there and it dies. Nobody says anything. A couple of people will like it. Everything else dies. I don't even look anymore. Like, a lot of people get really like, I put it out there and nobody liked it, or only 2 people liked it. Okay, next time there may be more.
Right.
Keep it going.
Right. You need at least, touch points to build that know, like, and trust. Right now in marketing is like 65 touch points or whatever. It's ridiculous. And stories, they need to see your story 7, 8 times, and you need to get them engaged with your stories because we have information overload in all these social platforms. People become numb. So yeah, I post something and nobody engages. Well, did I give them a reason to engage? Did I make it easy for them to engage? Did I provide something thought-provoking or educational or funny? What were we wanting them to do? Like, so many times, even on regular feeds, we post this beautiful, best content and nobody responds. Well, did we even write a caption? Did we give them something to respond to? Did we give them a call to action or a hook? So a lot of times we think it's everybody else's fault when really we just need to tweak the messaging that we're sending out there.
It's bringing up the words lazy marketing to me, which I'm totally guilty of. Like sometimes I just get lazy marketing. I'm going to post a little bit here, a little bit there, and I'm not going to really give it any thought because I feel lazy today. Like I just want to put something out there and not think about it.
And we have so many hats that we're wearing that sometimes the marketing hat is down at the bottom. It's honest, like it is for me sometimes, except for my clients, but for my own, it's the last thing that I want to think like, I don't know if I want to do it. Yes. But again, it depends on your goals, what you're using the marketing for. You can't say it's not working if you're not optimizing it to the best way that you can do that.
Right.
And
it's not working if you're doing it lazily. It's got to be,
We've got tough love going on today. So much for Valentine's smoothie lovey. It's like,
no, if you're lazy, it's not going to work. That's the bottom line.
Well, and the stats show that 58% of people become more interested in a brand or product after seeing it in the stories, and 50% of Instagram users visit a website after seeing a story. So stories do have a potential because you can really know, like, and trust somebody a lot of times easier in our story than their feed, because the feed tends to be more curated, more professional looking, more portfolio looking, more magazine looking. Yeah. Where the stories offer all of us the opportunity for people really to get to know us. And what is the distinguishing, like if I'm going to hire designer A or designer B, I know more about designer A and I like what designer A is saying, and they like Starbucks, I love Starbucks. They have poodles, I love poodles. I'm going to go with designer A because that's who I know. That's who I like.
Right,
and
the person I relate to more. The person
Correct.
I relate to more.
Correct. And so one of the questions we get often a lot asked is, how many stories should I post a day? How many stories should I post a week? So a lot depends, again, on... That's okay.
Live and working from home. Sorry about that. I didn't know she was in here.
So a lot kind of depends, again, on your goals, your time, and the effort, the energy that you have to put into it. So if you want to just maintain a presence, 1 story a day. If you want to maximize engagement, then you would want to do 5 to 7 stories a day, but you want to spread it out throughout the day. So 1 story. Yikes. 1 story, a couple hours later, another story. You don't want to put all 7 stories at one time. And if you have a high engagement strategy, and this would be for brands, influencers, someone that's really intentional on wanting to grow, then you would do the 8 to 10 stories a day. But
spread
then,
out.
Yeah, spread out. Yeah.
But your stories can be scheduled in your scheduler.
Correct. Yes. Yep. So you can do that. And then kind of things you'd want to post is like in the morning, it's a good idea to start with a poll or a question or a check-in type thing so that you're getting that engagement. That's the people see the first thing is like, is it going to be a great day? Yes or no type thing. And you get them engaged. And so then they're going to see the rest of your stories. And then how often during a week? So ideally, it's nice to do it most days of the week. But then conscientiously think about if all of a sudden you're getting 10 reactions on your stories or 10, you're seeing that number that's pretty consistent and all of a sudden you're getting nothing on stories. Stop your stories, wait for 24 hours, let that algorithm reset, and then start again. And the Instagram's going to go, oh, she's back. Yay, let's do some more.
Oh my God. So here's the part of what's coming into my head. And I'm sure everyone who's listening on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn is feeling the same way. If you do 5 stories, 7 stories, 8 stories, you get feedback from that. So It's not just, I need to find the time to do 7 to 8 stories a day throughout the day or have it in my scheduler. Then the interaction that creates, you have to address that as well. Otherwise, the algorithm is going to go, oh, she's just throwing shit out there and not responding to the people responding back.
Correct. And so setting up systems to, like, okay, every part of my shutdown from work routine
Yes.
is I'm going to set on Instagram for 5 minutes and respond to stories.
So what I used to do is 10 minutes on each platform every day. And if you're going to go under an aggressive strategy, like you want to become an influencer and you're doing that 8 to 10 stories a day, you have to set it up in your schedule where you have maybe 3 10-minute time slots a day or 3 5-minute time slots a day to respond, or you have a social media person doing it.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Does the average designer need to have 8 stories a day? Depends on your goals.
Yes.
If you're starting out and you have 150 followers and you're just getting started with social media, I would do it a couple times a week just to practice. Just get in there and try it. You're not going to mess it up. And if you don't like it, you hit the delete button.
And it disappears in 24 hours if you can get yourself to keep it there and see how it actually responds.
Correct.
And bypass your anxiety.
Correct. Now, we have made story mistakes. Everybody does. Even the professionals do. I was scheduling stories, 3 stories a day, and it was a tip or it was a quote or something inspirational or something. They didn't go anywhere. And the reason they didn't go anywhere because they weren't us. They weren't seeing me. They weren't seeing behind the scenes. I was providing value. But if I share a social media tip in my story, how are you supposed to be responding? Like, what would you do? You're going to like, oh, that's a nice tip, but not necessarily like it. I didn't give you anything to engage with. And so if you can learn from some of those mistakes, like if you're showing behind the scenes, people love to see behind the scenes. They want to see you destroy a kitchen. They want to see that sledgehammer.
As a designer, they want to see the breakdown. Yeah. Right. And then the building of it back up. All that stuff is great stories.
Correct. And they want to see, like, especially if you're a designer that prides themselves in function and beauty, they want to see, well, what makes, oh, look at this cabinet that I have this cereal thing that pulls out, or this is how I put this in so the homeowner can organize their Tupperware lids. All the different things. That's what people want to see, because then they can identify. It's like, oh my goodness, my Tupperware lids are all over the place. I want that. I want that designer. We just did this last night. My husband and I are doing a revamp planning in our home. And one of the designers that was in your group that I love, that's local, she had she was doing the stairwell thing. And it's like, oh, that's exactly what we want to do. And so I saved it, put it on our dream board, and she's top
right now. In the future, if you get stuck in your redesign of your home with your husband, you're going to go, we need to hire a professional. We cannot do this ourselves. So it starts out as inspiration. Then it becomes maybe a little overwhelming. And then they go, who do we know that can help us with this? Boom, the person I originally got inspired by. And that's how it works. That's how social media works.
And my husband's handyman, so he can do it. But I can guarantee you that I'd be sharing her name with every friend of mine that is interested or that is hiring a designer. It's like, oh, you should check her out. I've already done it multiple times. You should check her out. So, there's that beauty of not only would we potentially use her, but who am I sharing her name with that could potentially use? And that's where we miss that mark on social media. It's not so much of, oh, they didn't interact with this beautiful picture. To be honest, I don't even know if I liked that video that she did.
Right.
But I saved it in my own stuff, and I'm talking to you and sharing it with the whole world audience.
Right.
And so sometimes we don't know what we share, that if nobody, like, oh, they didn't like it, that doesn't mean they didn't like it. They just didn't like it they didn't put the little like button. They didn't do the heart.
Yeah, I just think people overthink social media tremendously. And I go through moments where I do it as well and still do it at times. But mostly I just go, how can I provide value to the people who are following me? And then there are moments where I go, how can I grow my following to find more people who might need me, right? So that's how you have to look at it. How do I provide value for the people who currently follow you? And what strategy do you use if you want to grow your following? And that's where you start making decisions. And then how long do you say it takes to figure out if you're going to fall in love with this strategy you created, or whether you go, this was a fail and I need to try something new?
I would say a month to 2.
A month to 2. Okay.
Yep. Okay. I would try, if you think strategies, if that it resonates with you, I would implement a strategy plan for stories and then try it for a month and look at the data. because sometimes, I mean, I have a client right now and she has a huge following on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if we're doing anything. And I looked at her data and some of it was like up 200%. And so, but I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't have looked at the analytics, because you can't
Right.
just trust your feeling like, oh, nobody's responding. Because that was my
Yeah.
thought. Nobody's liking her stuff. Nobody's doing that. And then I looked, it's like, oh my goodness. She had 150 new fans in the month of January. She's had 200% increase in engagement. We were making a difference, but
Yes.
it didn't feel like it until I looked at those numbers.
Right, because I think it's hard for designers sometimes. What I always tell all my profit insiders, when someone calls you, you get on the phone, can I ask how you found me? So you know what part of your marketing is working. But a lot of the times the client will say, oh, I'm not sure where I first saw you. It was social media, or they Googled you, but then they checked out your Instagram and
Right.
got to know you more. And they may not tell you all those nuances of all the steps they took to trust you enough to let you come in.
Correct. Because right. I was talking to a designer the other day, and in her area, it's not cool to hire an interior designer. And so if it's not cool to hire an interior designer, do you think they're going to really leave a comment or a like or anything? Because it's not cool. Same like we do social media for a marriage therapist. And
I was going to say,
this
is what no one's going to leave a comment on a marriage therapist because they don't want to be identified as having marital issues. And you know, you've worked with me for so many years. We have the same issue. I get people on my calendar and they're like, I've been following you for years. I've taken all your advice. I'm like, I don't even know your name. I don't think you've ever even hearted any of my posts. But yet they say they've watched every YouTube video, every post, because they're afraid to say, I think I want a business coach. They're embarrassed that right? So don't worry about what you're saying is don't worry about those particular vanity measures as much.
Right.
Look at your statistics.
Look at your statistics and then listen to your audience. If people are saying they're finding you on social media, something is working. Yeah. But if you're only showing up once a month, it's not working very effectively.
Yes.
So consistency wins the game.
Okay.
And do as much as you can at the season that you're in at that time, knowing that if you're only posting once a week, those are the results you're going to get. You're not going to get as many results on social media as someone that's posting once a day, every day of the week.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Did we cover all the points?
We did. So just keep it simple and don't let it be organic. And then,
so get back in touch with what you want your social media to say about you, about your brand, how you want to message, what you enjoy seeing is often what you'll enjoy putting out as well. And that's going to help you fall in love with your marketing again, rather than just doing everything that you hear. Like try that, do this.
Right.
And now you're just like,
and you can follow all the influencers in social media, like all these cool hacks and tips that they do. It takes a lot of time. And if you have the time and want to do it, great. But otherwise, keep it simple, be patient, be consistent, and remember, it's social, not sales.
It's social, not sales. Great way to end. We're getting quite a few comments, by the way, on our Instagram, on my Instagram. Wonderful information, great session. Being authentic is key. So I really liked what we said today, because I tend to fall into that same category. Oh, I saw an expert say I should be doing this, and I go run and try to do that. I'm like, I don't like this. It doesn't feel good. So there's a balance between pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to try something new that you do feel you want to kind of try to do. And you think maybe you could be good at it if you learned how to do it or if you practice, versus this just doesn't feel right to me at all. I don't like it and I don't want to do it. So there's a balance in there.
There is. And even with the, I said, don't, be social, don't sell. Well, there is, ultimately, that's why we're using it for our business.
Yes.
So there is a time and a place. Have them go to your website, have them go to your DMs and start that conversation so that you can build that relationship that will eventually lead to that sale. So it's not just a quick, here's $1, buy me type thing. It's
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you so much, Kim, as usual. Great information. And I just think this social media thing is such a nemesis to so many people, yet we're all obsessed with it at the same time. So it's like, How do you get it to work in your favor? I will tell you, Kim gives great advice. She goes live with us once a month as one of our sponsors. There's a playlist on my YouTube channel that's all about marketing mastery. So you can go binge watch all of Kim's videos with me, giving free advice to you guys to get your marketing up to where it's bringing you more business. And then, of course, consider getting help from Kim, and her Get It Done Club is my favorite thing. I put all my clients into it. Tell them a little bit about the Get It Done Club.
Yep. So the Get It Done Club is basically what it is we help you get your social media done. So whether it's being accountable, whether it's teaching you how to do it, or offering staying up on the latest strategies and tips. We have open office hours 3 times a week that people can come on and ask all their questions, or even just come in and just work. And then we started something new on Fridays. We do micro trainings that get emailed out to them once a week. Last week, we talked about LinkedIn and how to use that as a service provider. And so, just quick little 10-minute trainings that can help move your marketing forward is what we do. And then we have a scheduler that you can use, and a whole bunch of other resources.
It's an amazing program. I put all my profit insiders in it because it helps them stay focused on the right marketing strategies for their business. So if you need assistance with your marketing, you don't know what to do, you feel funny, you need to learn, check out the Get It Done Club. Get on Kim's calendar. Go to freshimpactsocialmedia.com or send Kim a private message through Instagram or Facebook, and get on her calendar so you can get the help you need with your marketing. So
thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.